Hello everyone, it's me Clayson. I just finished watching Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop, which is the latest Netflix anime film directed by Kyohei Ishiguro, which, despite its COVID-19 delays, absolutely manages to hold up as a great teen rom-com and a well-animated feature film in its own right. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story revolves around a haiku-loving, communication lacking loner named Cherry, who happens to one day run into a popular streamer named Smile. These two are teenagers who have issues when it comes to presenting who they truly are. Cherry prefers reading haikus and hanging around the elders rather than with people his own age most of the time, and Smile hides behind a mask because she's self-conscious about her buck teeth. But when these two happen to find each other, they not only find comfort in one another, but they happen to find various aspects of the past and the present that could lead them to not only become friends, but maybe even more, as a festival is coming soon to their town. But that's all I'll say about the story. To me, I really like these stories that happen to just show parts of life when it comes down to it, especially when it comes to a story that ends up being pretty it ends up being very lighthearted and very and very, it doesn't feel rushed in its pacing, despite the fact that the film is only less than an hour and a half long. Despite this, nothing about the film feels rushed. Everything feels like it's paced exactly the way it should be for a relaxing and very sweet ride. Especially because the visuals done by animation studio Signal MD do feel a lot like pop art. And because of that, it's a very colorful film full of bright visuals and a ton of creativity when it comes to the designs. Even if the character designs themselves do feel kind of similar to a lot of Signal MD works, I really felt it popped out a lot in the backgrounds and in the various environments that our characters end up in. Even the CGI shots done by animation studio Sublimation are also quite good. The CG doesn't look out of place in most of the shots. It's mostly used for establishing areas and for vehicles and stuff like that, and I think it blends in well with the pop art visuals. On top of that, the music happens to be a great mix of both modern sounding tunes and songs from Japan's past, which definitely does fit most of the themes of the film. The only real issue I do have is that some of those elements might not translate well to American audiences. Like, I I know that it's a Japanese film made for Japanese people, but this is one of those few films where I felt like there are certain elements to it that probably would only work for that kind of audience and wouldn't translate well to audiences in other countries. I knew I had to ask my friends when it comes to a few of those aspects, in order to really get them. But since that's my only issue, it really should be noted that everything else in this film works very well. Especially when it comes to Cherry and Smile. They're both very likable characters, and most of the side roles are pretty well good too. From Cherry's parents, to his friends, to Smile's friends, to the old people that Cherry hangs out with. All of them feel like well-realized characters. And there even is some genuinely heartfelt moments with some of the side characters that I didn't think would happen in this film. So despite all the delays and despite having an aesthetic that's far from the norm, Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop is definitely a sweet teen rom-com that should delight you, especially if you've been missing those in this past year. That's why I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. See you next time.